Good. You won't hear it put this way anywhere else on this earth yet. As this is a chosen doorway, it's a doorway that has earned the right and has permission to do this. Kind of like the front end of a wave moving through our solar system that is designed to transform things in a way that has never been in existence before. And it means for the whole creation, from the upper realities through the void to the lower planes and every body you're running in it. It's the whole thing that's involved here. If you break it down in parts, you limit yourself and eventually trap yourself as an Atma into limited use of higher faculties because it's not it's not focused on creating for the good of all life. It's focused on creating for the good of just me. That's how most people are. That's how they've been abused and manipulated and thrown here on earth with no memory, and then they're told that that's God's will and must be good for me to pay for my sins in the past lives. Well, how can you pay for sins in past lives you don't even remember? That doesn't really work when you test it, now does it? But see, common sense is the only way you know stuff like this. And when you don't have common sense, the intelligence and the decision making is based on some type of fear. Fear is negative. It only reproduces in space-time its exact duplicate, which comes back. If it's negative, it's negative. If it's partly positive and partly negative, you get both. That energy behind me in this image, that golden white light and all that's behind all of that, is neutral. It has no positive or negative aspects at all. And neither do we. As spherical beings, we don't. But if you don't know you're a spherical being and that's what's made in the image of God, how are you going to progress? You can't make this body progress like that. It learned what it learned in one lifetime on earth. It can't know the stuff that you're getting on these journeys. Only you, the real you, can know this stuff. And then bring it to earth and then help yourself on earth. Be able to accept while you're walking around running a body here, perceiving the multidimensional nature of the universe. When the body consciousness knows that it is a vehicle that is made to run and kept alive by the Atma, that's really a big step forward for people. Unfortunately, people on Earth are numb to this. Out in space out there, where they want to go play in space, they are not. So Earth is not up to speed with everybody else at all. I suppose you could say that the governments on Earth decided to keep all this classified, as far as life beyond Earth, mainly out of fear. They justified it as, well, we got to rebuild a damaged world, we got to people be baby boomers and make lots of babies and not worry about it. Our militaries will protect you. Well, our militaries on Earth are not capable of protecting us from what's out there, good or bad. They're far more advanced. So something has protected this world from being simply taken over. One thing is a treaty that was signed. And back in your backgrounds, you all knew about this treaty. You were all there before this life. You were far more evolved in running higher human types of bodies, many before this life. You don't hear this anywhere else on this earth because people don't know it or they're afraid to speak it. Truth is true for all or it's not true at all. That's a principle. It's a universal one. Any questions? If you have them, we can chat. We're not on, we're recording, we're on the journey, but we haven't left yet. Let's put it that way. And we can save that for later too. But you can run some things around now if you want to. Because right now, when we go into the hue, you're plugging into source energy itself, something you probably haven't done in billions of years. Not millions, billions. It's that long and that sad that people have been running bodies in the lower planes. This goes for your astral, causal, mental, and etheric bodies as well. They're all stuck in a way and becoming unstuck. And this process only works one way. This kind of unstuck is permanent. It's meant to make you a co-creator with the source once and for all. No going back, no more reincarnations, unconscious in bodies, not knowing what's going on or what you are. That's part of what disclosure is. Because we will not have a planet Earth playing in space, fighting over the spoils of other people's property, who could kick our ass in 5 seconds from space if they wanted to. And all the times that craft coming here have been observing our nuclear programs and blowing things up with radioactive results in our own atmosphere, which is why they came here. Just to see, they couldn't believe it, that someone would do that. I don't think even in their own past they ever did that with nuclear weapons. They might have tested them in space at some point, maybe used them, but got rid of them a long, long, long time ago as useless, a waste of time and energy. All isotopes that are used for either nuclear reactors or nuclear weapons are man-made. The minerals that are made of them or the gases that are made of them are made imbalanced so that they're unstable isotopes, so they can be split, so they can be used as weapons. Now, this was all man-made. Well, actually, it wasn't man-made on Earth. It was developed off-world long ago and snuck into the Earth, which is part of where World War II came from, by the way. It was influenced from off-world. People at the end of World War II began to become aware of this, so they classified it. I mean, how are you going to start telling people there's beings coming here from all over the world after World War II? People would never be able to settle down with all the fear driving them and all. No. So they started out with good intentions this way, but it's something that's been overdone to death. It's way past time to reveal the truth about this, and they're starting to do it. The journeys we go on specifically can go to many planets, many worlds, many planes, but we end up going across the void and into the energy that is not a part of the old failed experiment of good and evil that exists in the lower worlds of time and space. We go into an energy that has none of that, kind of get charged with it, and then bring it back to Earth to change our consciousness, because that's what changes consciousness. Nothing down here in the lower worlds can do that. Doesn't matter what guru tells you what or who says what. Look at all the stuff that's been done on this planet by gurus and teachers and religions for thousands of years. Has it gotten better? Is the world a better, more sane place with a unified government, benevolent, out of all these prayers? No. Why? See, that's the question people are terrified to ask in their belief systems. Whatever their belief system is, in whatever country, it's all the same. It's designed to control people, to keep them from knowing. That's it. And it was done to the people in governments that do this and in religions that lead them up. It was done to them as well. So we don't really blame them. Wouldn't do us any good if we did. Be like throwing rock at the side of the mountain, trying to dent it. Can't do it. So we go into the first sound behind creation because that first sound behind creation is where we all came from. We really did. It's funny, isn't it, that people on Earth, because of the terrible brainwashing they've been put through, and this is brainwashing on Earth by other people, even with implants in the way that were put in you before you were brought here, people on Earth don't realize how old they are. They think in terms of, this is my first and only life and then I'm going to heaven. Baloney. Do you know how many baloney lives they've lived like that, thinking like that, and they're right back here? If that were true, the condition of this world would be a paradise. Think about it. Why are there 8 billion people here still cramming to get in here that have no memory? Does that seem right to any of you? How can that be right? Well, it's not. When we know this stuff, it's not to know negative stuff. It's to know that we can contribute to changing it and that we have a responsibility as Atmas to do exactly that. Bitching about the world has never changed it. Praying to fix it has never changed it. That's like asking some other power to come here and fix all this stuff that the people are praying, are still perverting, are still creating at the same time they're asking for it. The two are in conflict. They do not work together. This is why most prayers aren't effective, because they're asking to do something that they're not willing to change first and then ask to have it done. It's pretty simple. When you think about it, it makes perfect sense to all of you now, because you're awake about this. Nothing wrong with religions or beliefs or gurus or any of that, except one thing. If they don't know about the first sound behind creation and do not know how to guide people or help them recover their ability to go to and above the void where they came from, then they're not doing them much good in the long run. Doesn't matter if it's yoga or Kriya yoga or fire yoga or whatever, Maya chakra practices or whatever. They're generally good. They can help depending on the maturity or mastery of the being applying them to themselves and others. But when you got other bodies like astral, causal, net, and etheric affecting you, and they have subconscious as well, here, you can see the problem. So when we go on these journeys, and when we go on this journey, when we come back, we're coming down through the etheric, mental, causal, astral, and then to the physical. And we're going to stop off along the way and have a little Torellian and Satan kick a little ass along the way. Because they aren't usually aware of each other and don't care, and they don't care about you here. Your higher selves don't care about you here. They're too busy caught up in their own little world. In the astral, you can live thousands of years in one body, but it's not a physical body. It's an astral molecular form. And they aren't permanent either. Get up in the mental can be millions of years, and that's not permanent. Get in the etheric, it's even longer, but that's not permanent either. Etheric body is transparent. It's not like physical atoms. Looks physical, but it's basically energy with a little bit of negativity thrown in. And if that etheric form believes that it wants to stay in eternity, semi-eternity, in the etheric plane, then it won't be motivated to jump over the void and go home and fulfill its purpose. They just stuck. And that's why it's important to get the other bodies you're running awake as well. So whether you know it or not, these journeys address those forms, even if I don't have time to speak about them or show you visually that we're meeting with them. It's automatic. Every journey now. It's really beneficial if I can take you for briefly to each plane and show you what some other beings are doing with your higher selves. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes.
Because otherwise, you haven't got a chance down here of making this little one brain and body do something to fix itself. From here, it's like the medical sciences on Earth are in the dark age. In fact, they're way back in the dinosaur age compared to most world systems now. They don't even have a cure for the common cold, much less cancer or anything else that's allowed to go to the public. Trillions of dollars have been spent for cancer research, and there's still no cure. Where's that money going? It isn't going for cures, is it? It is being ripped off to support allopathic medicine. That's it. Allopathic medicine will never address cures anyway. So there's the rub. There's the problem. People in Congress, people that allocate tax money for these things are going to people who are just as brainwashed and just as committed to the system, trying to solve cancer cures, which are easy and have been done on Earth and suppressed by our own government. It's questionable whether they'd suppress such things now if they came out. But who and what corporation gets to control the profit from a cure from cancer? It's all about taxes. It's all about, okay, there's a cure for cancer. How much do we charge for it? Do we give it away to the whole planet? Oh, if we did that, there'd be no hospitals, no nurses, no doctors. It would all fall apart. Pharmaceuticals, all of it. Hundreds of millions of people would be out of work overnight. This is the way governments think. If it threatens the stability of governments to give a cure to something, you don't give it. See what I mean? That's the problem. That kind of thinking is wrong and backwards, and it has to change. Because the systems that exist can be transformed into systems that work without destroying them. It's just not capable of people on Earth to do it. They're not smart enough, not awake enough to do it. It has to come from the greater God outside this Earth who have already done it and who know how to do it. Like the beings who have mapped out the entire genome millions of years ago. They know all the switches on it, their precise sound frequency, they turn them off, turn them on, blue eyes instead of green, no telomere shrink at the end of the DNA so you don't age. That's easy stuff. That's simple stuff. That's common practice out there. They don't have to figure out how to get rid of cancer. They set the genes up so you're not vulnerable. It's a bacteria anyway that gets in the system, and then it proliferates when your immune system drops. That's all it is. And that bacteria comes from, as far as I know, pigs who are a carrier for it, who eat truffles or mushrooms. It's a fungus, which is where it comes from, but also from the black orchid. It's in the deadly nightshade family. It's a deadly poison. It's a black orchid. But these things are consumed by animals, and animals consume them, and they get this in their system, and they're fine until the immune system has a little problem. Because this type of bacteria knows how to fool the white cells in the immune system into thinking they're safe. Don't attack me, I'm one of you. That has to be stripped away. So sound frequencies can destroy any types of abnormal cells in the body if you have the equipment that know, and the people that know what they're doing with it. It won't hurt good cells, just kills anything that's abnormal. Then your body has to be balanced and cleaned out safely. So this is some of the things that I'm sharing with you briefly here because I'm not a medical doctor. I wouldn't want a license in medicine if they gave it to me. Not on this planet. That would be a ticket for staying stupid and not changing anything. So you see the problem when you try to, when the beings from outside want to transform a world like Earth. They're up against religious fanaticism at each other's throats, political fanaticism at each other's throats, at all these things. Heck, people were rioting and hoarding toilet paper and paper towels when COVID happened. There wasn't even extraterrestrials coming in and saying, hi, we're your friends. So that's just common sense. But like I say, in order to have wisdom awaken us, we have to use common sense, and that cannot operate when you're working with fear with it. So the beings from the Galactic Alliance that go on these journeys protect you, all four of you, and me, from taking your subconscious problems with you. Just the Atma goes on these journeys, not your physical body and brain. They cannot go outside of Earth's atmosphere unless you're in a spaceship, protected. The molecules of the physical body on Earth are molecules from Earth. They go back to that when the body breaks down. They cannot be taken. For instance, you can't take out in the hue, out in space, any negative fear of the present and future. You can't program it and send it out into that void of space because there's no way for it to stick there. You can't put it there. It stays within the atmosphere of Earth because it's a level of responsibility. If we want to change this negative world to one that has no negative nature, then we have to be that way ourselves, don't we? Truth is truth for all, or it's not true at all. Let's do the hue 5 times to get this started.
Yeah.
It already has begun telepathically. You all know it. But this will connect you to beings that are connected to the source, that have no subconscious blocks. And therefore, they help you get connected to the same source by keeping your subconscious problems turned off with your sleeping body. As I'm speaking with you, your bodies begin to go into the trance state called sleep the same way you put it in every single night, with like masters, without any problem. So you see how tricky the subconscious can be, and then it tells you can't see, I don't know, I can't be, can't see this stuff. Well, your brain can't, that's true. It's not designed to understand the multidimensional nature of creation any more than it's designed to understand the structure of the Atma, which is spherical, running it. The Atma actually is the battery that keeps the body working. No physical body on Earth can run without an Atma running it. It's like taking the battery out of a car and trying to start the motor. It won't work. That's as simple as it is. People are doing this on earth completely unconscious. But the fact that they know how to do it, they take for granted. It's not. They had to learn how to do that a long time ago. Now, if you think about it, this makes perfect common sense. How do you run a body on earth? Just because you're born through a woman from a couple mating and here comes a baby and all of a sudden it knows how to run itself? No. The body of a human being does not breathe its first breath or run without an Atma there. If the Atma suddenly leaves, the body's still born. So in actuality, the Atma that runs bodies does not start to run it until after it takes its first breath. It can be associated with the body in the mother's womb, but it doesn't actually start to run it until the coast is clear, so to speak. If you understand this, you have a better understanding of life, what's eternal and what is not. Bodies are not. They never will be. They are not the source of life and they aren't the soul. But there's a responsibility that goes with running bodies that masterful beings take very seriously. The point is we're supposed to be able to run bodies and know who we are that isn't one. That's the point. This is not taught on earth. In fact, on earth, nobody even shows you what the Atma looks like, which is right here. Pretty neat looking thing, but that's what's made in the image of the source. This thing, not one of these. Once you know that, it's not reversible. You wake that up in the hue, it cannot be turned around and gone backwards. It tells the source when we plug into it that you are ready to become a conscious, trustworthy co-creator with it. And it begins to take over your training. It really does. It's like once you cross paths with the hue that's not trapped by world organizations and religions, by their inherent nature, when they're established as non-profit organizations, there's a problem. Because now they're being approved and controlled and regulated by governments that aren't about freeing anybody. They don't know how to free themselves either, so there you have it. But once you cross paths with the hue and it crosses paths with you, you're basically recovering the awareness of this first source sound and linking up with it. The rest of the baggage just drops away naturally as you're ready to let go of the very heavy weights of fear of the present and future. Most people are subconsciously deathly afraid of losing a body, right? It's ingrained in people all over the earth. Even animals have this fear. They don't want to lose a body. It's too damn hard to get one and raise it and grow up in it and all that, and then you just lose it and have to do it again. The fear comes from knowing they would have to reincarnate with no memory. That's the terror, not the death of the body. You get it? That's the subconscious terror. That's an implant. And besides the implant, it's a subconscious fear that we bring with us to this earth before we're implanted and caught, that we've been carrying for billions of years, and it has to be dropped completely. Everybody understands that, right?
Mm.
So your body's already in the sleep state. Your eyes should be closed now, otherwise you're just trying out of fear, keeping yourself attached to the world. That's any bozo on earth can open their eyes and be attached to the world. No big deal. They all do it. But when you close your eyes, what people don't know is that you're closing an outer door and opening an inner one. And it's quite automatic. If you're not taught to look into the multidimensional creation as the spherical being which can do it, while your bodies are alive on earth, you're not going to progress. You just aren't. Let's put out the hue and get this show going here. Do it with me silently. I will turn off your mics from here, but you can always put them on if you need to. But now just keep your body asleep. This doesn't mean you won't hear a sound or a truck go by or an airplane go overhead. That's a defense mechanism. It's left on in a sense, even while your body's asleep at night. So if some rattling noise outside your house comes on, the Atma's going to race back instantly and wake your body up. Like if there's a fire or something. An earthquake would certainly wake you up. So that's just what that is. But when your body's in the trance state called sleep, the function of seeing and being connected to the negatives that's charged in the atmosphere, in the water vapor and the oceans is disconnected. An inner vision opens up through the pineal gland in the center of the brain and connects to the hue, which connects to the source through all the beings that are connected to the source, what we call master teachers. The real master teachers right now are not on planet Earth at all. And if they aren't public figures. Think about this for a moment. If they are, they're not public figures. Let's start the hue. When I'm doing this, and you're doing it, the sound is coming from the source, all the way from the prime creator itself, because it travels through an omnipresent single living power behind all creation. Moves through Satnam, Agam Purusha, silent mentors, master teachers who are aware of it and one with it, conscious of it. Then it moves through us and passed through us for the benefit of all life, which is how, in part, the depleted charge of the hue in the ocean waters of Earth and in its atmosphere is beginning to be recharged by a few boots on the ground. The hue comes into the atmosphere separate from people, but it takes conscious Atmas working with it to recharge an entire planet's ecosystem. So you got 8 billion people blocking that. I guess it's going to stay kind of depleted now, isn't it? That's not normal. In your background, you all know, you used to know about most worlds out there that are normal have glowing H2O, luminous. It has a luminescence to it. About a foot above the calm ocean waves on most worlds. And it keeps the planets in balance. No earthquakes, no tidal waves, no volcanoes, no roaring ocean waves and hurricanes and all that stuff. They don't have polar ice caps. The air currents that run through the air of those planets and the ocean currents are completely different because of this, because they don't have polar ice caps. That's normal. Earth is not. Its moon is not. Yet. Shantiel and Tonaltiel are standing behind me. Dantiam and Lamtiam are standing to each side of Ambassador Turellian. Other couples whose names I have not mentioned yet on these journeys, who are equally as masterful and well experienced, are standing behind and beside each one of you. When you imagine going to the store, taking kids to a ball game or whatever it is you guys do, if you have family, This you have to see before your body will be motivated to get in a car or bike or whatever and go there. You have to visualize a trip on a vacation before your body will ever get on an airplane to get there, or a jet. People take this for granted, but they don't realize who or what is really doing the imagining to do this. It's not the brain. There's nothing in a human brain that can visualize anything. That's just people terrorized to believe that they are a body that somehow is a soul, or they have a soul that somehow is a body. They get it all mixed up. This is not the case. They are an Atma running a body. Simple truth. And of course, most of the races outside of Earth understand this growing up. And they don't grow up for 18 to 20 years to an adult like they do on Earth. No. What a waste of time and energy that is. They grow to full adulthood in 6 months. Why? Because they're bringing the consciousness of their prior existences and their awareness as an Atma to that next body they're going to run. Those agreements are made between conscious parents and a conscious, mature Atma that's going to take over another body. Once you understand this, you begin to understand what you already passed through long ago in awareness. You're near the ceiling looking down on your body. Same way you imagine going to the store, except now your imaginative focus is being taken out into the multidimensional universe. Because you're capable of seeing and understanding it in other planets and other dimensions and traveling on the omnipresent living power, which is the void of space that all things float in. It's pure hue energy. It's a living consciousness. It's not an individual. So we have to work with that if we want to play among the stars. And we have to work with energy that's not subservient to the law of physics or the law of thermodynamics or gravity or this so-called limit of the speed of light, which there is none whatsoever. That stupid kind of thinking keeps people stuck on Earth thinking we can't get to the stars and no one can get to us because it takes too damn long. It was created, theoretically created on Earth, measuring the speed of light in atmospheres of the planet. Think about it. You're an unconscious being running a body, and you're Einstein or some physicist, and you're measuring the speed of light in the atmosphere of Earth. What is the first incorrect thing they're doing with that thinking? When they measure the speed of light from space coming into Earth, they're still stuck with the physical eyes and perceptive mechanisms to determine its speed. And it is incorrect. Understanding higher science that you're being shared with from friends from out of town right now is not new to you. It's very ancient. All of you were scientists before, but not like the ridiculous scientists on Earth. I don't disrespect them, it's just that they don't know anything but theory. That's just another belief system. Experience drops theory and makes it real. The couple is hovering beside you. You're a spherical being near the ceiling. There is a male and a female to each side of you. And yes, Atmas are male or female by choice. Not in the lower worlds, long ago. This clears up a lot of misunderstandings people have on Earth once you know this. You are showing them a 36-year-old adult body, if you're a woman, perfectly beautiful, radiant, nicely dressed. If you're a man, perfectly handsome. So when you see me out standing in a circle in space around Lemriel, I look to be about 36. Kind of like Caleb in the Emerald Doorway. Because that form I had looks closer to the form I show you out in space, which is not a physical body, but it looks like one. It's a prototype. It's our true way and self of showing ourselves to each other. It has nothing to do with the age and getting old and dying in a physical body. This physical type of form does not age, does not get old. It is a projection from the white core of your being. Simple. It depicts the unique nature of your being manifested in a male or female form at about young adult 36-year-old type level. The couple that's beside you usually have long hair to their shoulders, slightly bigger eyes than humans. They come from all over the galaxy. Sometimes they're human or humanoid. Oceanian, Zintramus race, tall, silver hair, violet eyes, all kinds of different things. They all have bipedal forms. Mantis don't, and the Drens are bipedal forms. They walk on hind legs, but they have two arms and legs like a human, and indexed individual thumbs, fingers, and toes, etc. They are silica based from Oceania. This is stuff you guys used to know a long time ago. What this couple is doing for your benefit is just keeping any subconscious negative fears turned off, even those that go long before primary and secondary implants took place. They keep them off so you can go on the journey and not be worried about nothing. There's a white golden light coming down through the roof where you live that is passing through all three of you and through your body. It's making a connection now to 3 pyramids on Earth, and it's connecting to the core of the Milky Way galaxy and going back to source. It moves one way and it never stops moving. Like a river that has a source beginning, it goes to the ocean goes back to the source, and it revolves. This is what the sign of infinity means. The brighter amount of that light as it passes through the ceiling finds us all in space, instantly listening to a sound. We're in a circle of beings around Ambassador Turelian. Out in the pure hue, golden white light of space, looking at Earth with its polar ice caps and the barren moon, no atmosphere, doesn't turn on its axis, orbits the planet, always showing people on Earth the same face, does not turn at all. Most unnatural. Sun, the sound is like a deep humming, almost like thunder. Gentle, no lightning. The sound the physical universe makes through all 444 planes, 144 of them. Before it even changes sound when it gets into the astral, then the hue becomes more like the sound of an ocean wave constantly crashing on a beach, but not violent. Each of the divisions or planes have a different kind of tone or sound universally through them. But they're all one hue energy running them all. In space, you still have the being standing beside you. They're just keeping your fears turned off. All the troubles of Earth, how you grew up, how you were raised, your traumas, your laughter, everything. And mostly they're keeping turned off all the terrible things among the good ones that happened to you in many other lives before you came to Earth. There were many of those. Turelian shows you a body 18 feet tall because that's what his race was when they had physical bodies over 1 billion years ago. Not 1 million, not 100 million, 1 billion. Their entire race was so evolved, the entire race literally broke their DNA, 12-stranded by the way, 18 to 25 feet tall in their worlds, much larger than Earth. And they stored this in one of the teardrops faculties near the white core of their being. When they want to manifest a form, just like you do with this perfect body you're showing each other, they just draw on the universal hue, it manifests that 12-stranded DNA, and there's this body. but it's not a body that has to go to the bathroom or eat. You could go up and touch it. But when he's done using it, he puts it away. He doesn't have the burden of pushing that thing around. So he happened to be 18 feet tall in that life. The instructors, through direct experience of the Say race, are the silent mentors, the most evolved beings in creation. They run constantly and keep in place the mechanics and structures of the multidimensional universe, including the void, the ocean of sound and light, Agam Purusha's realm, which basically he runs. So we're going to go on a journey. And then you'll notice there's master-teacher couples in between each one of you, with this assigned Galactic Alliance representative couple standing beside you. At dinner, where they always are, high up above Terrellian, the big universal spherical Atma he is. He's twice as many layers of teardrops, looks more like a silent one, maybe a little smaller. But this guy can be in 7 places at one time, carrying out 7 things in forms he manifests at the same moment. Pretty advanced. Silent mentors have no such limitations. At dinner, Dren's 3 feet long. Pale green skin, not like a lizard, smooth. Glowing tails from the root to the tip like crystal opal in bright sunlight, and beautiful Atmas hovering above them. They are master teachers. They are not human. The Atmas look very much like ours do, they're just brighter. They are not silent mentors. Light sees above them. He comes from the etheric plane. He has no bodies below that. And then Satnam, who's standing below a vortex of whirling clockwise, golden white luminous vortex with a narrow center, big opening like a funnel, blue-green water light revolving around it. It's not, looks like water, luminous water, but it's not. And so this has been created by them before the journey started. It's designed to do one thing: bypass the lower worlds of time and space and all of its problems and all of its traps, and take us into the void. Because once we're in there, we're in pure hue energy. And then we go up beyond the void to Satnam's realm, the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, Agam Purusha's realm, the source itself. And one day I will escort you to the 2 planes that are existing above source or prime creator. One is the silent mentor realm, and one is the Hue Expansion Ray plane. These are located many dimensions above Satnam's realm, above the void. Since you all came from that source originally, it makes common sense that you should be able to recall it or recover the awareness of it, because you once knew it. Those faculties of awareness are still in the layers of the spectrum of light, in those little teardrops that make up the Atma you are. Some are turned off or dormant, but they're not destroyed. They're still there. Terrellian has his closed fist with his thumbs up. There's about a foot wide golden white light, brighter than the hue in space around us. You can see all the billions of stars of our galaxy, big blue ones, big yellow ones, little yellow ones, big red ones, small red ones. Most of those systems out there in the Milky Way are binary or trinary star systems with planets revolving around them. They're not a single sun like ours. In fact, the nearest sun to us is a binary star system, not one. This is known on Earth today by scientists. Probes they've sent out to see deeper into the universe have verified this. They're looking for exoplanets, planets that are like Earth that can sustain life like they know it on Earth. And in the process, they're finding out that these planets circle suns that have more than 2 or 3, 4, some of them even have 5, even 6. Just different in every way than what people are taught on Earth. Because of these multiple sun systems, they do not have polar ice caps on their planetary systems. Earth does. For now. Even the planet Earth as it exists in the third higher parallel dimension has no polar ice caps. Has no negative natures recorded in the water vapor oceans of that world. None. The moon there has a complete oxygen atmosphere, turns on its axis, orbits the planet, balances water on the surface and on the moon. It's working properly. The energy from that vortex through Satnam, through Light Sea, down through Etendin, and through even my starlight cat is there. Another cat I have, Leanna, who's up in the Atma plane with Satnam and being cared for by starlight and other things. They are capable of coming here on these journeys to contribute the wisdom of the Atma that knows the truth about animals and mammals and plant and sea life are living and to be respected. So they're here to help people recover that awareness. It's not something that can be forced on anybody on Earth. It has to come about naturally from within to the outside. This is something that just takes place. The energy coming through that vortex is a brighter golden white light represented in Tyrolean's closed fist with his thumbs up, because it's creating around us a transparent oval white light, brighter than the hue in space, like the hull of a spaceship. It's to keep us all together in this circle of beings going on this journey, to gain benefit from it and bring that back to our lives on Earth. The sound of the hue in space, this deep rumbling, this deep humming, begins to change into the high single note of a flute, more beautiful than any flute instrument on Earth. It's like bees being drawn to flower pollen and flowers. And it is a type of pure energy upon which we travel that has no limits like the speed of light or gravity or anything else, because this energy is not made of physical matter. It can't be influenced by physical matter. It has no gravitational areas to be concerned about. And it is the energy that supports all such things. Those things create gravitational fields, zero-point energy, or toroidal fields around the spheres and galaxies in each of us, so we can be buoyant in this omnipresent ocean of light and sound. This is how it really works. You all used to know it. You helped create it once long ago. I mention this briefly because it's too much for anybody on Earth to handle. But this was several 100 billion years ago in terms of Earth. So what have you been doing all that time, you suppose? A flash of brighter light from Tyrolean's thumbs puts a bright flash of light around this oval hall of light around us, and we start moving up at tremendous speed, following Satnam and two couple silent mentors standing to each side of them, alternating male and female. The Atmas above them are slightly about the size of Satnam's. Satnam's not only has more layers of color, but it has brighter other energies in it. The silent mentors have twice as many teardrop-shaped spectrum of light layers than we do, and they're 4 times bigger than we are, hovering above these forms that look human. Blue, green, purple, yellow gowns, representing different aspects of the color of spectrum of light. And long hair to their shoulders, different skin, no facial features. They never show any. When you look at the white light that is their face, you see levels upon levels and planes upon planes of galaxies. This is how they think. So we're following them up into this vortex until we reach the middle of it and stop. There we find ourselves in a circle around Trillion. And we are like the size of a dime to the size of a dinner plate in the middle of that middle narrow section. When you look through the walls of this white golden vortex whirling around us and the blue-green energy around that, you can see right through it. We've stopped at the etheric plane, not even halfway up this vortex. You can see the galaxies that make up the etheric, mental, causal, and astral are larger and more bright in each one. As they go down to the physical, this luminosity is more dim. It's not less hue, it's just a different type of energy of the hue. And so there is relatively more freedom going from the physical to astral, causal, and all that. But it doesn't mean a person is free in the lives they're running there. When we go into the void, we are plugging ourselves without fear into the one omnipresent, pure living sound that makes up the void. And we're absorbing it. It's moving through us. Kind of like charging the white core of your being. And then we move at tremendous speed until we come to the other end of this void, which is more vast than galaxies stacked on top of each other. And we see a white beach spread out before our eyes. We stop and look at it. It's luminous, it's diamond-like, it's glowing a foot above the sand, it's very wide, curves in infinite directions as far as you can see, and then way out there, it curves in, meaning that this beach, wherever it is, circles a circular landmass, and this is the Atma plane. This is Satnam's realm. True name, first sound, wherever you want to call him. I'm not here to debate any dictionary definitions of who that is because people on Earth don't really know who that is. They might know his name, they might know of him, but they really don't know how this works. Because they don't travel there to see him. They don't understand. When you look down, this physical form that's pure and perfect, 36-ish, is wiggling its bare toes in this diamond-like sand. And when you pick up one of these grains, just one, it's like the grain of sand. But it's round and polished, and it's diamond-like, and it's radiating light. All little grains on this beach radiate this same light. It's part of the charging system that keeps the void in place between the upper realities and the lower worlds. There are beings who actually manage the void around the clock. Not that there's any clocks or time here, there isn't. There's no past, present, and future in the void or higher. That's in the lower worlds of time and space only. So reality, as Atmas, we are not past, present, and future. We are eternally in the now. From that perspective, we can look into any point in the past, present, or future and see it and know it. This takes an awakening in the being, a God realization, a kind of awakened self and God realization kind of thing. Meaning, self-realization is the awareness of what you are as the Atma, which is right on the front cover of the Emerald Doorway book for the first time in the history of planet Earth. In fact, it's the first time in the history of the Galactic Alliance that they're seeing this image this way. And guess where it got put? On a book on Earth. For them to find it out there. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that strange? But that's sometimes how things get grounded to the most negative in order to create the most positive change in the lower worlds. Earth is actually the negative pole of creation. People on Earth do not know where the center of creation is when they look further and further. They see more galaxies and more galaxies. In fact, they recently discovered there's so much out there that the Big Bang Theory is now dispensed with because it's been proven to be incorrect. The universe didn't start in a Big Bang. It's the first real change in science that makes sense for planet Earth. It's like the one that keeps people stupid on Earth. Ooh, there's a limit to the speed of light. Can't go here, can't go there. It's thinking like a body, isn't it? You're not thinking properly. That's an Atma. You're wiggling your toes in this sand. The energy's moving up your legs. You can see it glowing inside of your limbs as it moves up through the top of your head. It lifts your head up. Smiling, you're looking up at yourself, the spherical Atma, hovering above this form. And this one grain of sand you picked up, it moves out of your hand and goes right into the white core of your being and makes it brighter. Let's leave it at that. It's a gift from Satnam. Every time we come here. Where's Satnam? Well, he's standing above the jungle trees. As far as you can see, they're taller than any trees on Earth. The trunks and fruit trees and fir trees and those trees, they're all transparent. The energy of the hue is moving up and down the trunks, the branches, and the leaves. Up here, there are no planets or moons or suns needed to light the way, like a sun. Because everything here produces its own light. The Atma plane, it's vast. And everything in it and every being in it produces its own light. There are physical forms and appearance, but they're just pure energy, really. When we move above the tops of these trees with Satnam following him, we stop above the trees for a reason. To be greeted by special beings. I consider them to be silent mentors of a form. One small, tiny aspect of their great legion of beings. They're flying out of the trees with 2 sets of bird wings, not one. It's the closest thing, I guess, a dragonfly. Be like a hummingbird with 2 sets of wings. Foot long, rainbow-colored body, thousands of colors blended perfectly and subtly together. Big blue eyes, kind of like a blue jay. Split feather tails long like a sparrow. And they're singing. Male and female. You can tell the difference. Above them is hovering a sphere pretty much the size of a silent mentor. And they're singing the hue. They have vocal cords. They have this ability to vibrate. I don't even know if it's vocal cords, but they make sound. And it's the sound of the hue passing through them. Their job is to balance and maintain the void between the upper realities and the lower worlds. That's what they do. Who would have known that on Earth? And they greet us. Each single one of these, a couple, male and female, hovers in front of all of your faces. Really, they're hovering in front of the Atma, kind of between where the Atma is above the form you're showing each other. And then they're singing the hue through you into the void. So what they're doing is passing through you briefly on its way to do their work. So you get a little bit of experience. You rub shoulders with them. You begin to expand your awareness to encompass much, much greater understanding of life, to respect it. And they go back in the trees, and we move onward following Satnam. In the distance, you can see a blue stone, snow-covered mountain range, straight, it's diagonal. Into the left and down below us is a circular 100-foot in diameter white stone floor, and there's a fountain, a white alabaster fountain with scalloped edges, a statue of Satnam standing in it, and a blue, white, golden shaft of light coming down into it. The statue has him bare-chested, 2 gold bracelets on each of his upper arms, golden eyes, not yellow, bronze skin, about 36, little white tunic dress from his waist to his bare ankles. His palms are open at his sides, facing forward. This light is pouring out his palms, filling this bowl. It's dropping around the scalloped edge in a luminous, even, golden white sheet of light. And it drops into the ground and vanishes behind a circular stone, donut-shaped sitting seat. Now that is a portal, one of many. We're not going up that one. When you look in the distance, you can see there are golden steps, luminous, a foot thick, like golden quartz leading up to a palatial state. Quartz and domes and crystalline buildings along the side of a mountain range. And in the middle of it all, these steps lead up to a platform. There are two big lapis lazuli blue stone gold lace pillars holding up a four-sided golden-sided pyramid with a quartz top. And in the middle of it, below it, is a single type of throne chair. It's a blue quartz, no cushions, polished rounded edges, and this shaft of light is coming down into it. A golden white light from the higher realities. We're moving with Satnam. He's taking us on a journey past that chair. He never sits in it. And into the back, we're going through a 15-foot high triangular opening in the back of this palatial thing. And we see a bigger fountain, much bigger, blue scalloped edges. There's a Christmas tree shaped blue-green light with a golden tube of light coming down into it, constantly in motion. To the base of the mountains, and it's a botanical paradise back here. There's birds and animals here around this fountain that you can't describe on Earth, not easily. And we're moving towards Satnam, who's going right up the shaft of this life. And once we're up inside it, in our little oval golden sphere of whole spaceship hull that Terrellian's creating, we're shot upward at tremendous speed. We come out the other end of a vortex. We haven't gone far. We've gone from the top, and it's very vast, of the Atma plane into the first, this parallel dimension that's been created between the top of the Atma plane and the beginning of the sixth realm. Remember this, there's 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th above there. 13 and 14. A lot of realms above here. No negative nature in any of them. Never was, never will be. Just like you. The Atma you are has no negative nature and never has. All of that was picked up and put in as programs and subconscious stuff in the energy field that surrounds the outside of the Atma, never in it. Nothing negative can be put, projected, manipulated, controlled, blown up, hydrogen bombs, beam weapons, psychotronic devices. Nothing can work to damage or affect the Atma. But you can be placed in the energy field subconsciously around you that makes you look at the universe in terror and distortion, not knowing what's going on. Some of this was done deliberately, some of it we picked up over billions of years. I guess because of our innocence or naivety, punish ourselves. Here you can't do that. Here you don't owe any karma. You don't pay any debts to become perfect. You cannot become what you already are. But you can remember it. We come out this other opening and we find ourselves in an even brighter light, a cobalt blue atmosphere of space. And in the distance you can see a single huge floating circular landmass. The cobalt blue atmosphere is more bright than in Satnam's realm, which is also cobalt blue, by the way. It's just brighter here. And it has the hue of the golden white light running through the background of this blue cobalt light. You can see there are 6 snow-covered blue stone mountains in a circle near the center of this landmass. And there is a crystalline, smooth as glass, blue glass, transparent tower point sticking up almost as tall as the mountains themselves in the middle of it. Surrounding this island, this floating landmass, is a luminous diamond-like beach, much brighter than the one in Satnam's realm. Encircles it, as we can see an overview of it as we approach it. There's a beautiful blue-green wave curling smooth as glass and crashing. The sound is constant. You can hear it. It's going clockwise around the entire beach surrounding. It continues to do this until it comes back to where it started, and then it keeps going. It's like a something the silent mentors control to keep this place floating where it is. There are no moons or planets or suns or stars here. We brought our own light with us, and everything else here radiates its own light. So this is the reason that planets, suns particularly, are not needed. Stars are not needed here. There's no positive and negative. That is the principle on which explosions and nuclear fusion and fission all take place in a sun. But this isn't the way it works up here. When we cross over this luminous beach, we see vast, vast countrysides, forests, lakes, rivers, other mountains, mountain ranges, towers like this blue glass administration tower in the center between the 6 mountain peaks. They're geometrically placed throughout the countryside. It's the first time this is being brought to the awareness of you on these journeys. There are 4 main silent mentor teaching facilities. And 1 in each quadrant, 2/3 of the way towards the beach, in the middle roadway that is parallel to many other white roadways that come from the base of those 6 mountains. Horseshoe-shaped golden luminous tunnels are at the base of all the mountains from which these white roads exit. They go into the hollowed-out interior of this U Expansion Ray Academy to a silent mentor teaching facility there. There's 12 of them in a circle standing above these incredible trees, and a white shaft of golden light coming down at the center of a white stone floor. Sometimes it's golden or even blue for different reasons. Down each roadway, north, south, east, or west, there's a right turn. If it's east, it's a left turn. If it's west, it's a right turn into a clearing. In each clearing is a silent mentor teaching facility. There are many, many, many other teaching facilities here, not run by silent mentors, but run by what we call master teachers. Like Ramu and Pelham has one here, and Ramu comes here and has one here, and Light Sea. We're going to visit that. Light Sea runs a big pyramid here down the western roadway. First turn to the right. It has a tree of life inside the center of it. And it's a doorway. It connects to the tree of life in Agam Purusha's realm. Many planes, dimensions above here. Every one of these places are doorways for an energy from Agam Purusha's realm to be generated down to support a realm below it, all the way down to planet Earth. The sound of the hue here, you can try to describe it in human terms, but it's far too beautiful than saying it's the high note of a flute. It's what it resembles. But no one's putting it, something to their lips and playing a flute here. If you listen, this high note of a flute has an orchestra around it. The melodies they weave cannot be described in human terms on Earth. The Atma can embrace and appreciate it multidimensionally. But the sounds here are multiple level. They're not just on one flat plane, like you would hear in an orchestra on Earth. You could say that the light is throughout the universes and the dimensions to show us the way. The sound is the power that we ride on to get to it. 2 aspects of the same living force. The white core of our being and the Atma we are is made of exactly the same energy as the source itself. We are identical to it. We're going to the northern beach down the one right roadway that leads all the way to the end of that circular landmass. And then we see as we're approaching it, you look around this space, this cobalt blue atmosphere, and there are 12 white islands. equidistantly placed around the outside, offshore. And there are a single clear dome covering 3 golden-sided quartz-capped pyramids inside it, with a type of fountain in between each one. Each fountain produces a different color. They cover the spectrum of light. A silent mentor couple is hovering above the beam that comes down into this dome in all 12 of these locations. When you look at the the blue glass-like administration tower, we suddenly find ourselves hovering around it. And we can see these big mountains surrounding us, and we're up near the point of this tower. We look down and see that it tapers, tapers widening and then goes to a flattened oval, which has a fountain in it. There's no statue of Satnam here, it's blue stone. And then it goes down the shaft. This bottom of it circles, is built on the outer surface of a circular white island. There's a blue-green luminous lake around it. And it's from this lake that the energy that's blue-green surrounds the interdimensional portal that's created we go up to from the space by Earth. This fountain, this tower, and the object in the center at the bottom of this tower, which we can see, is a 4-foot high, 2-foot wide, rectangular pedestal made of a blue stone with gold like lapis lazuli on Earth. 4-foot wide crystalline looking sphere, blue, transparent, has a radiant cobalt blue star in the center of it. The shaft of light coming down this tower goes into this star, is projected as a beam of light into the center of the hollowed out interior of the U Expansionary Academy, where we suddenly find ourselves. This form you show each other is sitting in white leather chairs facing away from, in a circle, the shaft of light. Turellian's standing in the middle of the shaft of light. I'm in it with him. The 2 silent mentor couples are in it. Then you look around the outside of these chairs. You're sitting, there's 12 chairs, but there can be as many as are needed, but you're sitting in all around this circle. The Atma, you are hovering above it, and then you see these giant trees. One is like a eucalyptus tree. One is like a giant fir tree. One is like a giant redwood tree. One is like a giant white oak tree. And they go around the circle, and there are 12. Standing atop them are silent mentors alternating male and female. They're the forms they choose to show us. No facial features, different colored, single colored gown on each of them to their bare feet. Different colored skin, smooth and perfect. Different colored long hair to their shoulders. Can't say they're different colored eyes because they have no facial features. And above them is hovering an Atma, a silent mentor Atma. 4 times wider than us, twice as many teardrop shaped levels of faculties, and many more colors in the spectrum of their being than we have. Now here's what we're doing here. The shaft of light that's running down through Turellian in the middle of this hollowed out interior, it's like a blue stone floor, luminous. These white leather-like chairs in a circle facing away from this shaft of light. The energy coming down through Turellian, myself and 2 silent mentor couples, is moving through the Atmas we are, moving through the Atmas you are, through the physical form that you have sitting. That form is because it can see and hear and taste and smell and do things like a physical body, but it is not made of matter. So you feel a vibration running through that body. It has a scent, but it can't be described in human terms. It's too beautiful. And it moves through you, goes up into these trees, up into the feet of these silent mentors, and up into the spherical being they are, and then straight up a beam above each one of them. The sound is like a flute, but much, much finer. There's a hauntingly beautiful melody being played. You can hear it kind of like this, and I'll try to mimic it. Think of it as a female voices. Hugh, 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 Hugh. It's the way they bring energy from higher planes down here. It's all done through sound. Isn't that interesting? So it's moving through us, through the silent mentors, and disappearing back to source. And then it's moving through the silent mentors the other way, simultaneously, back through them, back through us, and back to Relian, and back to source. In this way, and only in this way, can we begin to experience the nature of a silent mentor. And we can only do that in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. They do not play with people in the lower worlds at all. They're too busy. So in this way, something is moving through us in the pure hue that's changing us. It's beginning to make us, I guess you could say, we're going to evolve into a prototype being, something new. A blend of a silent mentor, which has absolute freedom in creation, mixed with the love and care and compassion, you might say, of a silent teacher, male or female, or both. We pick this up on this journey for this reason. Then we find ourselves suddenly up above the blue glass administration tower point, above the 6 snow-covered mountain peaks, following, actually, the sound. We're in a circle in our little golden white hull of a spaceship around all of us in a circle of beings, including the master teacher couples between each of us I have not described, and the silent couple mentors from the Galactic Alliance who are going on this journey. This is unique for them. When they return to the Emerald Star Cruiser, they pass this telepathically on to not just the crew on that ship, all the 450 million world peoples and all those worlds the Galactic Alliance represents. And it's passed to the Xantarmus race, which runs the other half of the galaxy. They're all getting the benefit of these journeys. This is how it really works. And we need their help, believe me, to survive and fix a planet as backwards and upside down as Earth is. The next thing you know, we are an oval light now. We can't even see the individual differences between us. We're just a big oval light. And we're shot up this shaft of light. And we come out the next opening, many dimensions above, where we come out into the realm of Agam Parusha. It's a fiery realm. It would terrorize you if you had any fear here, but you don't. Blue and green and yellow and red and orange and whirling up the ground. Looks like gargoyles and evil things and angelic things all mixed up, and it's just the way the illusion of the light. But really, it's always moving. This is the raw energy of creation. This energy has to be formed and balanced and generated downward to support what's below here. We are floating in a circle of beings around Torellian, and a massive being is approaching us. This is bigger than a silent mentor. More dense. It's hard to describe. This is Agam Parusha. This one being regulates the raw power and generates it down to support the entire creation. So in a sense, the energy that runs through us, even on Earth, has his presence in it. Isn't that interesting? Whether we know it or not. And so he's given us permission. In the distance in this fiery realm, you can see a single massive, giant, silver, slightly green, but mostly silver golden type of tree. Like a giant fir tree with roots so deep, so massive, they're like the size of galaxies, disappearing into the fiery light. The top of the tree cannot be seen. It disappears into the realm above. The trunk is transparent. It's a golden white light moving up and down the shaft. This is the tree of life, and we've been given permission to enter it. And we go into this portal to get into the next realm. That is the source or prime creator, ocean of sound and light itself. When we're moving with Turelian in through these branches, you notice that each single needle on each branch is connected to some place in the lower dimensions above here, above the void, into the void, and through the lower worlds of time and space. Every single place and location is represented in the Tree of Life. Purely higher, majestic science, if you want to look at it that way, or celestial. The branches, the big branches and the tree trunks represent entire billions of galaxies on many levels. And we're suddenly shot up this shaft inside the trunk of this tree. We're like a dime to a dinner plate again. And we're moved upward at tremendous speed. The sound of the hue and the sound of the flute drawing us upward. We instantly come out of another opening. We find ourselves in the more brilliant cobalt blue space. There's no suns or moons or stars here. In the distance is a single, looks like a silvery golden galaxy turning on its axis. That is all that is here. You can see right through this bulk area where a galaxy of stars would be. A hollowed out area with a white single island in the center of it, and something spherical floating above it. We are being taken on a journey, and as we pass the outer layers of this supposed stars surrounding a galactic core, we realize they are individual beings. And as you pass down these branches of this galactic form, you realize that you are one of them and have never left here. And we continue between these beings, very great space, like two stars, distance. And we find ourselves moving into the inner third, which is hollow. There's a white, luminous, circular island, vibrating music you can't describe. It's pulsing energy waves outward, constantly, like donut-shaped energy waves, moving out through it, going to the lower worlds, going through Agam-Purusha, and it continues constantly. And now we're moving, hovering above this white island is a gigantic, massive sphere. Thousands upon thousands of layers of faculties, thousands of colors of layers of the spectrum of light. The sound cannot be described, radiating from all of them, perfect harmony. And we're moving between individual teardrop-shaped faculties, which are like the distance between two stars. And then we're suddenly shot into the very middle of the white light that is at the core of Prime Creator, Source. And we're in this in a circle around Turelian, right in the center of it. You realize this is not an individual. We are individuals within it. And we are identical in light and color and form on a smaller scale as this center. And here you always hear a voice, a deep baritone male voice mixed with these celestial angelic qualities of feminine voices. This has nothing to do with the division of sexes or positive and negative in the lower worlds. And you hear it always say, "Welcome home." Then it begins to speak to all of us here. We all hear it at the same time. It just says, now that you have returned to Source, the white light that is I, if it says it that way, and the white light that is you, is changing you here. It's sharing that the destiny of the entire multidimensional creation is now beginning to change for the first time. The lower worlds of time and space were built, fixed, and finished with the old cattle prodding technique of good and evil to get people to develop spiritual logic, effectively failed. It created quite the opposite effect that it was intended to create. This is where you become aware of the Source, and you are from the Source. And then it says, you must return now or your bodies on earth would perish. So we find ourselves suddenly hovering in space above planet Earth. It's not the planet Earth you're used to seeing. This is in the third higher parallel dimension out of 144 that we call the physical universe. And this Earth has no polar ice caps. And has two continents centered over the equator, one very large, covering half the planet from the left to the right hemisphere, and one on the other side, 2/3 its size. Down above, about a third of the way above the South Pole, is an upward curved, half-moon base-shaped, glowing emerald green beach. There's a huge mountain range like the Himalayas in the central area across this huge continent. The ocean waves around this planet are glowing. The water vapor on this world is normal. Master beings like Ramu come from a Himalayan area in this place. You got a hand up for some reason, Vince? Or are you just trying to clear your arm off or something? Oh. It's okay. He comes from a city, small, I wouldn't call it Tibetan really, in an area in the center of those mountains, which is like Shambhala, Shangri-La, whatever you want to call it. So that place is really not in the Himalayas on Earth. There are doorways between dimensions that access it in the Himalayas on Earth, but you'd have to be invited or you'd never even see them. You find yourself wiggling your toes in the emerald green sands of that beach, spread out along this huge, curved, half-moon base-shaped beach. The water is blue-green and glowing, calm, a foot above the waves, and Tyrellian's standing up to his knees in this water. 2 thumbs up, golden light around him, still with a quirky grin at us. Big Atma he is hovering above it. And on the beach beside us are 2 tall, 10-foot tall humanoid beings, male and female, silver-like luminous hair to their shoulders like silver metal, violet oval eyes, ivory-colored smooth skin, longer limbs and fingers than we have, brighter, larger Atmas hovering above them. The woman is holding her palms up with his fingers spread facing out. There's a sphere of green light around them, and you realize it's charging that beach. It's a gift to this planet Earth from their planet on Xiantramon 1, which is on the other side of the Milky Way galaxy, in the parallel dimension where the Earth is that you know. Now, this energy, this green energy, is to help you recover, dropping fear along the way, to help you recover all the lives that matter that you've lived in the lower dimensions of time and space. The white diamond-like gifts from Satnam and the white beach and the Hue Expansionary Academy, and our journey into the core of the source itself, are gifts to help you remember your lives in the worlds in and above the void. The little particle of this green glowing sand is lifted up one at a time by this woman and by the man. And then they're sent to the white core of our being. They go out to the green layer, very thick, many green teardrop faculties in it, comprehensions, more mental related, mental plane related, etc. And it makes it brighter and turns on some of those faculties. Inland, past this jungle, very much taller jungle trees than you have on Earth, you can see a single snow-crowned mountain. 2/3 of the way towards its summit to the west is a waterfall cascading out of a cavern opening, falling down thousands of feet down a sheer cliff face to disappear between or behind a blue forested, slightly green tinged forest behind a clear dome covering 3 golden sided quartz capped pyramids that surround a much lower oval ivory dome. Above this waterfall is a cavern oval tunnel with semi-spherical lights leading down inside it. This was created as an interdimensional doorway between the third higher parallel dimension where Earth is here and a base inside Mount Shasta built there in 1908. Ships can come up this tunnel and come into the third higher level and go back and forth. Galactic Alliance ships are capable of traversing all 144 parallel dimensions and worlds and trade, and part of the unity of the Galactic Alliance. They cannot go into the astral plane or higher. But we can. There's an oval luminous lake in the middle of that dome, a semicircular mountain range with little waterfalls coming out of cavern openings. It's like a miniature mountain range put there for the aesthetic pleasure of the people that work here. The people that work in that dome are beings like Opelum, Ramu, Eta and Din, Silent Mentors, Torellian, the Serays. There's no negative nature in the charged water vapor or oceans of this world, this Earth. The moon is alive, orbits the planet, turning on its axis. This is a prototype for the way Earth and its moon will be. It has to come from somewhere. The old principle, as above, so below, applies here. In the case of these guided journeys, the principle works the other way. As below, so above. This is all a gift. Then you find yourself hovering above your body back on Earth near the ceiling, and this Galactic Alliance couple, the spheres that they are like you, and this 36-year-old perfect form you show each other is still there. The white golden light from this journey you can now see is passing through the etheric plane. You're up near the ceiling by your home, but at the same time you are a sphere hovering above a transparent body, standing by the steps of a palace on one of 80,000 islands on some world, and your body is transparent and luminous, and the Atma you are is hovering above it. And then you find Satnam and Torellian standing beside you, basically throwing energy into this etheric body to get it to be awake, to motivate it to drop the last piece of negativity, so it can be aware that you are supposed to be going above the void into higher realms and coming back here. And then it's compelled to look down and see the mental body in the plane below it. Your mental body looks physical, but everything here in these realms manifests instantly, and all matters moved by thought. And you are in a well-dressed body somewhere on numbers of worlds, on islands that are luminous, and Satnam and Torellian are standing beside you, kicking your ass, so to speak, to get that form awake out of its sphere and looking up to the etheric. They see each other, then it's looking down to the causal. Or the causal plane, you're on tropical islands, thousands of them. Worlds are much larger than in the physical universe where Earth is. You're standing on a balcony by a domed structure or a triangular structure. And you're sitting there, actually you're standing there, and Satnam and Torellian are beside each of you. Your age and what you look like is up to you. I'm not going to describe it. And they're kicking the ass of your causal plane in a nice way, compelling it to look up to see the mental body connection and look down to your astral body, and then you're above the astral body. And that looks physical, but it's made of a finer molecular time rate of matter. You can live thousands of years here, depending on which of the 144 parallel dimensions of planes you work in the astral energy. All matters moved by emotion. So they appear standing beside you, Satnam and Torellian, to compel you to look up to the causal, respectfully acknowledge this is all body forms you are running, You're the Atma observing this. And then it compels the astral to look down to your physical body, sitting in that chair, and to the Atma you are hovering above it, with the Galactic Alliance Atmas hovering with you. And they compel you, as the Atma near the scene, to look up to the astral body and then look down through your physical, knowing that the white golden light we brought back from Source is passing through you for your benefit, but it's continuing on to the planet Earth's atmosphere for the benefit of all life. It is connected to 3 pyramids on Earth's 2 of Earth's deepest oceans and 1 in the Himalayan mountain, hollowed out. It is hidden. They have a fountain in them. They are turned on. That connects to a pyramid between 2 stable asteroids in the asteroid field between Mars and Jupiter that orbits now in the orbit of what was a planet a long time ago that was blown apart from the core outward. That was called Maldak. All of you had a life there. Just one of billions. When that place was blown up, there's only one place you had left to go to seek the false security of another body, and that was Earth. 2 billion people that were there on Earth today, compulsively trying to have an Armageddon again. They can't help it. So, the energy is beamed from that bigger pyramid straight to the galactic core of the galaxy, goes up the shaft. It goes through pyramids that have been appearing, stationed between individual stars, and it goes back to Source. Just like we did. It moves one way and one way only, and it never stops moving. So it must pass through us for our benefit, and then continue beyond us for the benefit of all life. Therefore, the more enlightened we become, the more life we know exists in the grand multidimensional universe, and the more life we can respect, which is required. If we want freedom in the multidimensional creation as masterful beings to really finish our journey, then we have to know what life exists there. If you grow up on Earth and all you see is what you're taught to imagine on Earth, you're not going to get very far about anywhere, about anything. So we have to recover our ability to see into the grand multidimensional creation and know and see things again. The Atma can do this once fear is dropped. This couple from the Galactic Alliance smile at you, kind, and they vanish. Right where you are, hovering near the ceiling, you can see them getting their bodies up from egg-shaped blue cushion chairs in front of oval blue glass top tables on a blue carpet that's luminous in one of the lounges aboard the Emerald Star Cruiser. It is stationed in the ice rings that make up the rings that circle the planet Saturn in our solar system. So that means they put their bodies in chairs and went to sleep and left and came on the journey. And now they're waking up and they're going to go share what we did with all of the crew and then with the entire Galactic Alliance. This is something you need to be aware is going on now. And we wouldn't have a ghost of a hell of a chance of saving ourselves on planet Earth from complete self-destruction. So knowing this, in comfort and in safety, you can open your eyes back on Earth. We're back. You can ask you to turn on your mics. I will request it of you. And take your time, no hurry. Hi, Susan. Hi, Lee. Vince and Margaret. Can you turn on your little microphone? It's that little symbol that says audio. Looks like a microphone. Be a red line through it. Yeah. There's a red line through it, Margaret, when it's off. You just got to click on it with your cursor and it'll turn it on. We've been through this before. You've done it before. You have to remember how you did it. Of course, we can't hear you when you talk. There we go. See?
Yeah. I can see everybody.
You okay,
Uh,
Vince? I kept seeing you
yeah.
doing something with your hand. Were you just stretching?
Oh, yeah. I had to wake it up. Basically,
Oh, oh yeah,
I
you went to
probably didn't.
sleep.
I probably should need to get more comfortable sometimes when I do these.
Well,
I wasn't
you can
comfortable.
always lay down, but you don't want to go to sleep because you do that
Oh
all the
no,
time.
no, no.
Yeah, but
Mm.
it's a long journey. It's a little over an hour and 40 minutes, maybe hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, I think.
I got the train.
But we needed to get a lot of things done on this journey.
It's a long journey.
A lot got happened. So, like I request, since I'll put this on my YouTube channel, I'm going to send you the link directly to this video on my YouTube channel so that you can all watch it a second time. The important thing is that you just treat yourself well.
Mm.
All right? Make this fun. These
Yeah.
journeys are work. I mean, you have to actually do stuff and go on the journey. But the second time you review it on Earth, it's for your consciousness on Earth to become more enlightened. When you go through it the second time, have fun with it. Start to play it, take notes, go to the bathroom, get up, have some food, go to a restaurant, come back, play it again. Treat it with respect, but treat it knowing that as you review it the second time, you're going to discover a lot more happened than you
Hmm.
right now. And that's what enlightens you. When you take the time on Earth to go through it again, it starts to surface consciously in you. Here, that's what changes you.
Yeah.
You're actually changing you. You have the help of master teachers and you have the omnipresent power doing it, of course, but you have to be co-creatively involved in the process. Because you're supposed to gain something from these journeys that's permanent, that cannot be reversed.
We lost your sound.
You still hear me?
Oh, now.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's there
We
now.
we did lose it.
Went out a little bit? What did I
Yeah,
say?
it went out for a little while. We could see your mouth moving, but there
Well,
was no
what
sound.
did I say last? Any of you remember?
We were saying to go out to the restaurant and come back and go
Oh, yeah,
over it
okay.
and how it's really,
Yeah, okay, so you're supposed to have fun with it, right? And enjoy it.
Yeah.
Means there's no fear, childlike wonder. Go into the hue, get relaxed, be calm, feel it fill you. Then play it back. Do it when you won't be disturbed. But you can disturb yourself. You can stop it and go to a restaurant. You can, and then pay attention when you break up that journey. Watch the people around you, knowing there's the hue coming through you. It will know when to fix them and how. You don't have to worry about that. You don't want that burden. I don't want that burden. And just see how your consciousness relates to the way these people are. You realize they're very, very unconscious, numb to almost everything.
Mm.
And you listen to the conversations without eavesdropping, and they're very superficial. Husbands and wives, kids and business people, all very materialistic, superficial. They're really not talking about anything that matters. This is the way life is on earth until people begin to wake up, and then their conversations go into more meaningful areas, right?
Yeah.
That's all it is. And then you play the whole thing from beginning to end, put it away, and then just go, what do I know now that I didn't know? And it's everything on this journey. Any questions? Because let me stop the recording now.